Game of Thrones is one of the most expensive shows on TV. It costs 3 times as much to make an episode of GOT as it does to make an episode of The Big Bang Theory. However, it still costs $1 million less than it did to make any episode on the final season of Friends. Some GOT episodes cost even more than $6 million to make. Season 2's action-packed Blackwater skated in with a reported price tag of $8 million. To date, producers have traveled to the United States, Croatia, Morocco, Malta, Iceland and Northern Ireland for filming, with locations often overlapping in order to meet deadlines. Rumor has it GOT will add Spain to that list for Season 5. The Northern Irish home base of Game of Thrones isn't the only location to benefit from the massive production. The ancient Moroccan city of Ouarzazate is said to have had a 100% increase in bookings after becoming the face of Yunkai Penrose. In addition to George R.R. Martin and series showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, all 3 of whom are credited for each episode, the show has used series executive story editor Brian Cogman, 5 episodes, Divergent screenwriter Vanessa Taylor, 3 episodes, and Serious Nerdcurd writer and producer Jane Espenson, 1 episode, to flesh out the novels for television. In comparison, True Blood and The Walking Dead, 2 other television adaptations of popular books with sprawling casts, have had 14 and 20 total writers respectively. Showrunner David Benioff was already an accomplished Hollywood screenwriter before Game of Thrones. Having worked in Hollywood himself, most notably on the late single-quote 80s television series Beauty and the Beast, Martin was skeptical of anyone adapting his life's work. Luckily, Benioff and Weiss got their pitch and the answer to Martin's question right. Martin has written 5 novels in what he says will ultimately be a 7-book series. But it took him a whopping 15 years to write those first 5. Benioff and Weiss hope Martin pulls through, but are willing to move forward without him, books or not. Benioff and Weiss say they have the broad strokes of what Martin plans to do with the book series ending, but none of the specifics. Martin hopes he'll be able to finish the books before the show ends. In the original pilot, Jennifer L. Pride and Prejudice played Catelyn Stark and newcomer Tamsin Merchant starred as Daenerys Targaryen. Producers decided to shoot the entire pilot with 5 roles recast, including Michelle Fairley and Emilia Clarke stepping in for Catelyn and Daenerys. It seems the recast was the right choice. The made-up name Daenerys didn't exist outside of Martin's novel before the HBO show aired. Parents, however, have not been unified in the name's pronunciation. The now iconic opening was created by the prolific short-form filmmaking studio Elastic, which also created the credits for Masters of Sex, The Americans and True Detective. While GOT's opening is meant to evoke the maps at the beginning of the Lord of the Rings books, it was Elastic's creative director who came up with the world within a sphere. Pay attention to the shadowed areas beneath the surface of the map. There are cogs working there, too. It took prop maker Gavin Jones 2 months to construct the iconic behemoth out of wood and steel. The finished product stands an impressive 8 feet tall. George R.R. Martin may be a major fan of Tolkien's work, but even he feels Lord of the Rings was missing some ritual and worship. Middle-earth did have its own forms of religion, but nobody's here to debate the finer points of the Silmarillion. Though Martin refers to himself as a lapsed Catholic, he says he finds religion and spirituality fascinating and that he wants to believe in an afterlife.